Oh, hello. How about that? Right.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. That's the draw presentation. Yeah. Okay. One more. Stand by. Hell yeah. There are a lot of things that people misconstrue about where speed comes from when it comes to like gun handling and gun mechanics. The draw to first shot, what are we measuring? We're measuring how quickly you can react to a stimulus, access a pistol, mount it appropriately, and fire an aimed, confirmed hit. One of the biggest things that people don't really internalize is that fast draw times, fast gun mechanics in general don't come from trying really hard. As much as you're doing a lot of things that are not a part of what we're trying to do. We see dudes try really hard, right? They'll kind of like, their whole body gets involved in it and they get all locked up and tense and there's a lot of snappy motions. Those are always gonna be slower than just presenting the gun as efficiently as possible. Start position, not very sexy, not very exciting. Basically do whatever you want to do. But I think in the name of training, if you're going to train a thing, consistency is key, right? So I'd like to have some sort of built-in developed index to let me know that I'm starting from the same place that I always start from. For me, I feel this magazine on the inside of this forearm. I feel the heel of this gun on the inside of this forearm. This lets me know that I am in the position I always like to start from. It's the second place that people lose a lot of time. They react to a stimulus as if they are making a decision as opposed to a reaction. The difference looks something like this. Shooter ready, yep, stand by. And then they start moving, they hear the beep and it's like their brain says, okay, we can go now. Whereas what I'd like for people to do is the decision to draw the gun has already been made. This is simply permission. I know I'm gonna draw the pistol as soon as I get the permission to do it. So it needs to be a very reaction-based motion, not a decision-based motion. When I'm staging for this, what I want is no tension in my body. The fastest way to fire a muscle is from total relaxation. Tension is the enemy of efficiency, and efficiency is what we need for speed. The next thing that I want to look at is accessing the pistol itself. What I'm trying to do with most guns, there's a hollow spot back here where the frame of the gun, the front strap of the gun meets the holster and the trigger guard. If you've got a well-made holster, hopefully you've got no material in that general area. It's almost like a little funnel, right? And so what I'm looking for as a good physical cue is that connection there, right? I'm trying to funnel that hand into that spot. I'm not thinking about going after the grip. I know that sounds kind of weird, but if you think about going after the grip, it's very common to see guys grip the gun very, very low and just start shooting it anyway, as opposed to going after the funnel and getting a super high and tight and aggressive grip like we like to shoot with. The next big place that a lot of people lose time is that this hand is always late to the party. They'll draw the gun very aggressively while this hand stays static and relaxed, and then it's trying to catch up to what's happening. And if you care about points, and especially if you're gonna shoot multiple shots, most people will not fire until the grip is sound and correct. And so they're always kind of aiming and then waiting on this hand, and then the gun goes off. What I always try to think is I want to make the master grip as soon as possible. I personally don't like to stage this hand center line because it officiates the gun to the center and then it has to go out. So there's like this dog leg in it. What I'm trying to do is get the gun in front of my face as fast as humanly possible. And I think the easiest way to do that is a 45-degree angle straight from the holster straight to the eye line without dog legs and other weird stuff going on, if we're just talking about performance shooting, getting the gun in front of our face as fast as possible. What I do with this hand, instead of staging it center line, is I'll actually bring it across over towards the gun and make the grip as the gun lifts from the holster. This is typically somewhere where you can save a tenth of a second, sometimes 2/10 of a second, by eliminating the angles in the draw. From there, what I'm doing is as soon as the gun clears body, fingers going to the trigger, the presentation ends here, then we start the shooting, right? So I think a lot of people are tying the shooting to the draw effort, and they'll get a gun out and just kind of click it because they're trying to time it based on when they're gonna arrive to the target. I don't think that's how we should be doing it. So in dry fire, when I'm doing this, the definition of success is dot is on the target and finger is on the trigger ready to shoot, but I'm not pulling the trigger. And the reason I'm not pulling the trigger is because it's very common to see guys that pull the trigger on the draw in dry fire. They begin to time how fast they can pull a trigger, not necessarily how fast they can fire an aimed shot. And so what we see oftentimes is something that looks like this. Guys are like, I'm gonna do this 1 second draw, y'all ready? Got it. That's not how people shoot when they care about what happens. So what are we doing? We are attempting to get the gun from the holster to our eye line and be ready to shoot at the limit of human function. Then we process sights. So ideally, A good 1 second draw would look like this, right? See the sight, is it good? Yes, it is, send it. We have to get sights in front of our face to start to process, should we shoot, should we not? Can we make this shot? Do I need prep? The information that comes from the sights is required. We should be focusing on how quickly can I get a sight picture, not how quickly can I pull the trigger. You'll find if you'll go at it that way, that skill set will be displayed not only at 5 and 7 yards, but also at 25 yards, right? So the 25-yard draw is the same speed to my face as it is at 5 yards. The triggering comes at a little different pace though. When I do the draw, I have to test it a couple of different ways. So the first thing is just raw speed. How quickly can I get this alpha hit? So I'll show you that real quick, and we're gonna see what we can put an A-zone hit on this target with. So we're in there at 8.7. Just to make sure it's not luck, we're gonna try it again. And so we're in there again at 8.5, so that's pretty consistent. So now what I need to do is I need to make sure that that wasn't the dog and pony show, right? That that's not just something that I can do for a single shot. I think it's very common and possible that you can get away with a lot of stuff for one round that would not maintain for multiple rounds, right? And so what I wanna do is add multiple shots in behind this to test whether or not does that same time maintain when I'm doing multiple shots, or was I collecting the data dishonestly initially, and that's not how I would actually do this. So we're gonna see, does that same time kind of maintain for multiple shots? Right, and so first shot is at a 90, so that's within the 500ths of a second that I give myself for that. I'll take that, no problem. I drew a little smiley face bill drill for you because I knew you'd like that. Boop, boop. The overarching idea is be honest with how you're doing this. Don't do what a lot of people do, which is something that looks like this. This really bothers me. Okay, wait a minute, we're gonna tape that and try again. Hang on, let me try again. There it is, it's a line cutter, I got it, right? Like, bro, if you're trying to win anything, or if you're trying to save your own life, hopefully you understand how that is not a great plan, right? Like that's not what dudes at the higher levels are doing. Nobody at the higher levels is getting lucky to get the hit. We're seeing the sights, we're processing what we need to see. The speed comes from the holster to the face, not the triggering of the gun. How'd you like my stupid draw demo? It's great, right?
This is a little over dramatic.
No, it ain't. I see dudes do that shit all the time. That is a perfect representation of what people do. Over dramatic. Pulling kittens out of your damn coat. Gonna talk to me about over dramatic. Okay. What's a good time for a draw to first shot? Number one, who cares? And number two, we don't know, man, right? Like that depends on what is the target, how far away are we from the target? There's so many variables that come into what is fast. I think if we create a standard of what like a good time would be, the standard needs to be something that I can meet 10 out of 10 times in any practical orientation that you could ever find me in my opinion, right? So you pick whatever arbitrary accuracy standard. We'll say the alpha zone of the body of a USPSA target from 1 yard to 10 yards. I never want to be slower than 1.75 seconds. That's my standard. That doesn't mean that you suck at shooting if you can't do that. You can't compare yourself to a dude that shoots for a living, shoots all the time when you don't do that. You have to come up with your own standard. But I think if I could get the gun, whether it be from appendix or from outside the waistband, from safari land with the thumb retention or even level 3 retention, if I can accomplish that in 1.75 seconds on the flat range on cotton ball cloud day, under nods with the gloves on, in the rain from concealment, if I can still maintain that, I'm probably gonna be all right. I think that for most dudes, man, if you get to where you can on the flat range draw and fire on a 10-yard alpha with 80 to 90% consistency in, let's say, 1.25 seconds, I think there's probably other things that you should be working on. I think that we should probably go back to overdeveloping the skill of the shooting and not get wrapped around the axle about this one draw. So we need to get an assessment of where you live currently. So okay. I want you to give me 2 of the most aggressive shots you can get out of the gun.
Single shot from the draw?
Yep, do it honestly where it's not luck. Like I know that I'm gonna hit. You ready?
Ready.
That's 1 flat. Let's try it again. In there at 113. Try 6 shots for me and let's see if it maintains somewhere around the 1 to 115 range. All right, so you're in there, so you tell me, you like that one or you wanna try it again? The bottom one was your first one. That was one flat again.
Oh, that one was?
Yep.
Yeah, I felt a little wild on that.
All right, let's run it one more time. Good. And that one's at a 9/8, so that's within the metric, so I'm good to go with that. All right, unload that gun. I like to do this with the weight of the loaded gun. Yep.
Of course you do.
I'm not pulling the trigger while I'm doing it, so I shouldn't ever be racking the gun anyway. I'm gonna start you off at 5 seconds, and I want you to use all 5 seconds to do the draw stroke. I don't want you to try to beat the 5 seconds. I want you to try to be with the 5 seconds. And I want to see if you can feel any frenetic motion that's not a part of what you're trying to do, right? 2, 3, 4, grip, 5. Good. I am eliminating Jeff's ability to know what the time is because in his brain, he has a predetermined idea of how fast he can go. And so that self-image, it will be satiated once we get to that point and it will fail to continue after that. But if I don't let him know the time and he just keeps trying, he can do some stuff that he might not normally do. Good. Super cool. I'm gonna drop time again. And we're just gonna keep dropping and keep dropping, and we're gonna see where the wheels kind of fall off at. When we make mistakes, it's very, very important that we fix them before we holster. Very important. Good. I'm trying to avoid that at the end, right? I want the gun to arrive flat. All right, so I want you to watch this and it sounds fast, right? So at no point should I feel like I'm like getting all crazy about it, right? It's just, if you do anything but the draw, that's where the time is lost at. And I'm being really cognizant of the grip at this pace. Beautiful. So this is now the current time. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you this is slow, man. It's a little bit spicy. The way I like to tell dudes, like, don't think about this as fast. Think about it as doing exactly what you were doing, but just sprinkle a little bit of pepper on your hands, right? Like just a little bit of spicy hands. It's nothing crazy, right? And so it felt very controlled when it landed, nothing crazy, but the access to the gun and the reaction to the timer is where all the time is made up. Good. You make it?
That's pretty close.
And I want you to also like pick out a bullet hole while we're doing this and fix any index issues as they show up. Good. So when we do that,
a little push to the left.
So I saw you out of the corner of my eye when you got up here, you like did one of these like weird things, right? So try to let those shoulders relax, keep those traps from firing. React to the beep sooner. React to the beep sooner, crave it. Good. I think it's super unreasonable to think that when we're trying to do something we've never done before that all of them are gonna be perfect. So I'm very okay with like messing up. We dropped time. This one's pretty spicy, but it's super doable. So stick with me. We're gonna live here for a little bit. It's gonna feel a little bit like work. That's okay. That one's hot and nasty, I ain't gonna lie. There's a number of things you can choose as a cue. You can react to the beep sooner, you can get your hand to the gun sooner, you can get the gun out of the holster sooner, you can make the master grip sooner, you can touch the trigger sooner, or you can see the sight sooner. I want you to just pick one, right? And just see if, like, we work the cue ladder, and what happens is a dude looks the same, he looks the same, he looks the same, then all of a sudden he does something different, right?
Okay.
So work that cue ladder. Let's react to the beep sooner. It's pretty close. Try one more of those, stand by. That's it, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Now you can try hand to the gun sooner. That's pretty close.
So hands together sooner?
Yep. You out of gas yet?
I mean, I'm floundering.
Ah, hell, I'm gonna get one more. Hell yeah. I'm interested in, how fast do you think that was?
7.5.
Okay, that's where you were. You had a 6.0.
Oh, that was 6.0?
A 6.0, listen.
Okay, but I was behind most of the time.
So that's how you kill a good thing right there, right?
Okay.
Okay. So that's what everybody does. That's what everybody does is they go, well, yeah, but I wasn't making it. And it's like, okay, well, cool. Then just go back to being slow then. If I gave you 1/10 of a second on top of that, do you think it would have increased your consistency pretty dramatically? You get 7/10 of a second.
Yeah,
think you made that? I think so too.
Yeah.
I think if I give you 8/10, you've got it 9 out of 10 times, right? So now what we've done is we've worked your hand speed to the point where you can get a gun in front of your face in about 6 to 7/10 of a second, which gives you a solid 3/10 of a second to process what you're doing, which is plenty of time. If you recreate that exact same draw speed, but you make shooting the target the most important thing, I don't care about the timer, I'm just interested in it, I think we should see a reduction in time.
Okay.
But the only way that doesn't happen is if you revert back to what you've always done.
Yep.
Right? So I want you to recreate that exact same feeling, that exact same draw speed, just fire the gun when the sights are acceptable. The request is to hit the alpha.
Yep.
So if you don't hit, I don't give you a time because I don't want to reward you for doing anything. Like a lot of people like reward themselves by talking about how fast they lost.
Yep.
I'm not interested in that. There's my boy. There he is. You don't know how fast you're doing this, but just make the hit. Choose hitting above all things. Don't slow down to do it though. Okay, you're in there on that one. I'll give you that. That's a 9-2. Pick out a spot. I want you to reduce your vision to a bullet hole. Gun out of the holster sooner. There he is. 8-9. So let's hold that cue. Gun out of the holster sooner. He's in there. 9-6. Let's do one more. He's in there. 9-4. You have to be careful with how you assess this, right? So a lot of people will be like, yeah, so I got a couple hundredths of a second. Well, dude, you ain't got but a couple hundredths of a second to get. So I think if you look at this from a, like I'm typically a 1 second to a 1:15 kind of guy, I just did an 8-9, a 9-3, a 9-2, and a 9-4. I find that fascinating that we did that in 10 minutes of dry fire, right?
Yep.
What that makes me wonder is, what could you do you think, if you would do that kind of process for 3 minutes every day for the next 6 months? You would become speed. The coolest thing that I think a lot of people have never really experienced is to rep stuff like that at such an incredible just rate. You're just doing it all the time, that pace is not a choice that you make, it's just a default program. You don't have to go fast when fast is the default program. You know what I mean? What happens when that occurs is it removes this idea that you have to over try. Like a lot of dudes will get up to a line and they'll be like, oh, I got to go fast. I really got to turn it on, or I really got to burn it down, or what, those kind of thoughts. I think those thoughts are rooted in the foundational belief that your current level of speed is not fast enough. If you thought you were faster than everybody here, you would never have that thought. Yep. Does that make sense? So the coolest thing that happens when you become fast, and you just are, is now all you've got to do is just shoot alphas, man. It's like you're faster than everybody anyway. So just shoot the alphas. You know what I mean? And you don't have to worry about trying to do that and be fast and run hard and do all the things. You know what I mean? So I find that pretty cool. What you think?
I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's
I'll take a 1/10 of a second.
Hell yeah. Why wouldn't you?